Hello and welcome to our special show. I'm Gargi Rawat and this is a show where we're answering all your questions about vaccines and teenagers. Now today has been a landmark day. It's not only the first Monday of the new year, but it's also the day that India has opened up its vaccination for those between the ages of 15 to 18. And so far what we do know is that 37.8 lakh teenagers have managed to get vaccinated today. There you can see on the CoWIN app, it shows you those numbers of the people who have managed to get vaccinated in that age group of 15 to 18. And many of you have questions and any sort of doubts that you may have, do call in on the number on your screen. And we have doctors with us to answer all your questions. We're joined by Dr. Rajiv Seth, a senior pediatrician and expert on vaccine, medical director, Child Health and Development Center, New Delhi. We're also joined by Dr. Nihar Parekh, a pediatrician, director, Cheers and Childcare, Kemp's Corner, Mumbai. Thank you so much, doctors, for joining us. And it's a landmark day. Finally, we started vaccinating, a sizable part of our population, the age group between 15 to 18 years of age. Dr. Seth, what would you say to parents who are, thinking about this going forward? Right now, we do know it's only Covaxin that is being offered for this age group. Hi, Dr. Rajiv Seth, if you can hear me.
Hello.
All right, Dr. Parekh, over to you then. What would you say to parents who are considering this now? And as we said, it's only Covaxin right now that is available for this age group.
I would basically encourage every parent out there to take the vaccine, to trust the system. There's a lot of research gone in by the government. They've put in a lot of effort. They have delayed for a reason. They have studied, they have understood the process, they've understood the trends and the diseases and finally come out with guidelines. We have a huge population and a huge teenage population as well. So I think if the government is finally ready to give the vaccine, I think we should show our trust and faith in their process and go take the vaccine. Not be choosy and picky about what is available, what is not available. We have done that in the past and it has caused problems. Luckily, this time we don't have a choice. I take it as a good sign. So take what is offered. And since Covaxin is the only one out there, please go ahead and take the shot.
All right. And on day one, you have 37.8 lakh teenagers getting the shot as it opened up. Dr. Rajiv Seth, what would you say to, parents who are listening in?
No, I'm delighted. I've been getting calls from parents even before this was announced, and parents are very anxious about their children, especially these group of children who are going to go into schools and board exams and all. So it's a big relief for the families that they are getting their vaccinations. COVID disease has been milder in children so far, but with the new wave, we don't know how this is going to pan out. Some protection is needed, and I'm very delighted the government has launched the vaccination program for children 15 to 18. And I'm sure soon, once this cohort of children get covered, they get boosters, the second round will have much younger children from 12 years onwards to begin with.
Right. We also are joined by Dr. Hemant Thakkar, Maharashtra COVID Task Force member. Dr. Thakkar, are you hearing anything about, what happens next after we manage to vaccinate this particular age group? Because we don't want schools to shut down already. In Mumbai, they've announced that schools will be shutting down for all except those who are in classes 10 and 12.
So I think you're counting your chickens before they are hatched. We've just begun vaccinating the 15 to 18. I think this is an excellent thing that the government has introduced, and it will proceed very rapidly because the number of people in this population is not only small but very eager, and it is the 15 to 18 age group which can think for itself. Of course, they need the support of their adults. So if we are quickly able to vaccinate them, remember the time duration is also less, because it is Covaxin for them. It is not Covishield, which spells out into second dose at 90 days. So you can rapidly finish their vaccination in a month's time. If they begin in 3rd or 4th or 5th in the first week, by 10th of February, we would have a significant amount of the children population taken. We know that overseas, they have also gone lower and started at 12 years of age. So it's a significant thing. The schools right now have stopped and closed because of the Omicron surge. If we are to take a leaf out of South Africa's book, where the Omicron came, it saw and it disappeared, we too should be out of the Omicron wave by the middle of February. So the Maharashtra government shutting down the schools or colleges is a very proactive step. They would have done it for Delta, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Omicron, Omega, whatever. But because it is Omicron, I don't think we need to worry so much. It's a proactive step. Today I've seen a lot of colleges, a lot of offices, a lot of organizations also moving to a large fraction of work from home. So we have to think on our feet, and the government is doing that. We at the ground level are also doing that. And I can again endorse that while children need the vaccine, the number of people that we are seeing in the severity age, in the severity group is extremely small, extremely little, and we don't need to worry about it so far. So I think it's a good thing.
All right, that is reassuring. We have a caller, Elia from Goa. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hello. Hello,
yes,
doctor.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had given my son a vaccine on 29 December, TT booster dose for 15 years. So is it wise to give it now, the co-vaccine? Tomorrow was the schedule to give the vaccine. So can I go forward with it?
And earlier you had given him?
On 29 December.
Yes. You gave him another vaccine on the 29th?
No, 29 December I had given him a TT booster dose.
Okay.
I think.
All right, Dr. Rajiv Seth, if you could answer that question.
What I understand is that she has taken some vaccinations on the 29th. If she has taken some vaccinations on the 29th, there is absolutely no contraindication. You should go ahead and take this vaccination. This is certainly very important for your child. And, if you've had vaccinations on the 29th, whenever you get your date through the COVID app, you register and you take the vaccination on that day. So go ahead.
All right. And is there any contraindication for anything? In fact, Dr. Nihar Parekh, I'll put this question to you because now Omicron is spreading so rapidly that, should parents first at least check if their children have any of the symptoms, given that it's so mild. For some it's just a throat pain. For some it could just be a cold or mild fever. So if there are any sort of symptoms, then they shouldn't go in for the vaccine. In fact, go in for testing, isn't it?
I think going for it is a standard protocol whenever you take your child for any vaccine. If the child has fever, significant cough and cold, you would delay the vaccine. And so should it be in this case as well. So if your child has a fever for 2-3 days, has cough and cold, the chances are, as of now, there is a high possibility of the child suffering from Omicron. Let the child recover. Since the severity of the disease is very minor, I see no harm when the child is fully recovered 7 to 10 days from this viral infection. They should go ahead and take the vaccine.
Right. Dr. Thakkar, anything you'd like to add here?
No, I think both my colleagues are absolutely right. In fact, to give you another example, the WHO has allowed in adults the influenza vaccine and the COVID vaccine to be given simultaneously, if not at 3-day interval. So I don't see any reason. Again, in the West, when a person suffers from COVID, in India, we wait for 4 to 6 weeks before giving them the second dose if they are in between doses. But in the West, the moment the patient recovers, a week later, they give it. Remember, the rules of COVID are being written and rewritten every day. There's no question of any hard and fast rule. So it's not rocket science, it's common sense. And I agree with my colleagues that they can give the vaccine once the child is recovered after 7 to 10 days.
All right, another issue of concern that has just arisen, and we know many parents have been asking, members of the opposition like Supriya Sule have raised this is about the life extension that has been given for Covaxin. Earlier, if they were to expire within a particular time, it has been extended now to 12 months, and this has raised some amount of concern among parents. Though the Ministry of Health has put out a circular saying, this has nothing, this should be no cause of concern, and you shouldn't just give a one-sided view of parents or politicians, opposition politicians on this, that this has been done on a scientific basis. So, Dr. Rajiv said, if you could just explain that for parents who may want to know more about this.
You see, the Covaxin is everybody know, National Institute of Virology, Government of India partnership. This is a very reliable vaccine, scientifically studied in adults. Then they did a phase 3 trial in children in the ages of children 2 to 6, 6 to 12, and 12 to 18. So they had about 525 children segregated. It's a phase 3 trial, which has shown that this vaccine has no side effects except for some mild soreness. There was no major blood clots, no myocardial problems, nothing life-threatening. So after due process, it has been now, and government has waited. Besides this vaccine, there's another vaccine that the Zydus group has made out that also was given emergency use authorization for children between 12 years on. Right now, the availability of Covaxin is there for children, and so I would say that if that is a one that government is doing, sure, go ahead and take that. If they come with Zydus Cadila, that also been scientifically evaluated.
Right. In fact, we're waiting to hear about Zydus Cadila because there was so much of a buzz about it, back in October, and we're still waiting to hear when it'll be available. We have another caller from Delhi, Parth. Go ahead with your question, Parth.
Yes, hello. So my question was, has there been any change in the duration between getting a COVID infection, particularly Omicron, and the gap after which we can take our vaccine? Is there any change, any known change about this?
All right. Dr. Parekh, would you like to take that?
Like I said, Omicron per se, over the last 2 weeks in children, we've seen a huge amount of children getting infected. But 99% of the times, it behaves like a normal viral, stays for 3 to 4 days. The complete recovery post all symptoms is 5 to 7 days. So again, I would reinstate the fact the minute your child recovers completely, is hale and hearty, go take the vaccine. Common sense prevails. No parent would take their child for a vaccine when the child is burning with fever. So be patient, let the fever pass by, let this Omicron do its flu thing, and go ahead and take the vaccine after 7 to 10 days on complete recovery.
All right, 7 to 10 days. Dr. Thakkar, is there any sort of government, advisory around this, or is that how we're supposed to just, wait it out and having recovered a week later, 10 days later, then go ahead with the vaccine?
I think the government is also taking cues from the people who are practicing and giving them ideas. Coming back to your previous question about Covaxin and expiry, remember, the Ministry of Health or the science behind the vaccines are never going to make a grave mistake for commercial reasons. So the human mind, which is always born as suspicious and superstitious, should take things a little easy. We need the vaccine. Nobody wants to give you a dud vaccine. You have to understand, you have to remember that every decision taken by the scientists and handed over to the health authorities has some method in their madness. So if Covaxin is being given, I'm sure it should be accepted. And this 7 to 10 day recommendation is absolute common sense. And with that, every pediatrician follows his gut sense. And I'm agreeing with that.
All right, we have another caller, Riyasuddin, calling in from Pune. Go ahead with your question.
ऑनलाइन करो আমার नाम দিছে
जी रियासुद्दीन जी, आप अपना प्रश्न पूछिए।
जी मैम मैं बोल रहा हूँ मैम कि जो एज बिटवीन 15 to 18 और उसके बीच में अगर दोनों वैक्सीन किसी ने ले लिया हो तो मैम कैन ही गेट अनदर डोज I am telling you that can he get third dose? If is there any contradiction or side effects, can he get? This is my question.
नहीं, अगर उन्होंने कौन सा वैक्सीन ले चुके हैं?
2 मैम कोविशील्ड ले चुके हैं मैम.
अच्छा, आप अपने बारे में पूछ रहे हैं?
जी मैम.
ये बूस्टर डोज के लिए पूछ रहे हैं?
जी मैम, मैं मेरे बारे में पूछ रहा हूँ मैम.
All right, I think if I understood that correctly, he's taken Covishield earlier and he wants to know if he can take a dose of Covaxin. That's what I understood, doctors. I don't know if somebody understood differently. Dr. Rajiv, say it.
I thought he was asking about himself, and I assumed that you are an adult. And so as adult, there are guidelines for the third booster dose. They are going to be given to senior citizen. If you are a senior citizen over 60 years, or if you have younger, but you have comorbidities, then only you will be allowed to take a booster at this stage. And that will, I think, after the 10th of January is the date when you will be eligible if you are a senior citizen or adult with comorbidities. But for children, certainly this is the first time we have started, and we have to wait, follow the Covaxin guidelines. There will be 2 doses, and we have to wait for further announcements as they come along. So this is what I have to say for you. So आप अपना टीका
Alright, we have another. जी, टीका जरूर लगाइएगा, and no mixing as of right now. We haven't, the government has not, given out any advice on that front, and we're sticking with the vaccine that we've taken. We have another caller, Dhar from Pune. Dhar, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to check back whether for teens, Covaxin with expiry of November, is that being permitted for application to teens from government?
Yes, it has, and Dr. Thakkar, I think, can explain this best.
I think, like I said before, the government, the health authorities, the manufacturers, and the scientists have okayed it. I see no reason to question their wisdom or their decision. And I don't think they've done it with anything commercial in mind. So we have to take what they have said as truth and move along.
And in fact, this was allowed in December, 20th of December, I think, is when, the decision came that they're allowing the life extension of these vaccines.
Yes.
Isn't it right, Dr. Thakkar, that's when they decided that they would allow this, and yes, it has become slightly controversial. So I think again and again, and we'll show that advisory that has been put out by the Ministry of by the Health Ministry to talk about this entire issue.
I think unfortunately it happened in a very coincidental fashion. So I think it would be a great idea if your channel interviewed somebody at the Bharat Bio lab or at the Health Ministry or both, and gave us a clarification as to why they have come to this. We at the ground,
we have been carrying the Health Ministry circular, all day today, ever since it came out, to talk about this very issue. We have one more caller from Mumbai, Rajesh from Mumbai. Go ahead with your question.
Hi, my question is, can this vaccine for teenagers be administered to children with autism and or Down syndrome?
All right, Dr. Nihar Parekh.
So, there's always been a past discussion about certain vaccines triggering or kind of exaggerating autism, and I see no reason why it cannot be given to Down's syndrome. But autism and MMR were two kind of linked entities in the past. I am sure even that relationship has never been proven 100%. So we freely give that MMR as well without thinking of the autism. I see no reason why we should think of Down syndrome or autism to give the Covaxin. In fact, children with Down syndrome are always partially immunocompromised with underlying heart disorders or immunity disabilities. So they will be in the first list when we vaccinate children on priority basis at a younger age group.
All right, we have one last caller, Aman from Pune. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi. My son is 16 years old, and I just want to know, he's currently having a little cold for the last 2-3 days. That is only one symptom he has. So instead of having cold, can he go ahead for the vaccine?
All right, Dr. Rajiv Seth?
Yes, a minor cold is not a contraindication. It's only if he is at severe COVID himself or he has severe illness, then it is a this thing. So minor cold, you should take and avail your turn and get it. This is extremely important that you immunize your children as soon as possible and take the booster as well. May I add that children with disabilities, children with protein allergy, malnutrition, or immunodeficiencies, children who have comorbidities like chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, or heart disease are very at high risk, and those children should also be mobilized if they're in this age group to get it as soon as possible. There's no contraindication for any children of any disability of any kind.
All right, that's very important to put that message out there. Well, thank you so much, doctors, for taking out your precious time and joining us on the program, answering all these questions, all these doubts that many parents have. And it's a landmark day as vaccinations opened up for the 15 to 18 age group. Over 37.8 lakh have gone ahead and got vaccinated on day one. So if you're a parent, do go ahead and book your slots. Thanks all for watching. We'll slip into a short break.